Welcome everyone, Ify here. Today I'm making the promised video about discontinued fragrances in my collection. Some of them I did buy because I knew they were discontinued. Some I bought because I knew they were about to get discontinued. And some I just owned in my collection and they got discontinued at some point. So I want to make this video as quick as possible because I have 38 fragrances and some mentions, so it's gonna take a while. I'm not going to describe the fragrances, I'm just gonna say a few words about them, but I do have something important to say before I start showing you the fragrances, and that's how do I know that these fragrances are discontinued. There are several ways to check if a fragrance has been discontinued. For example, checking the fragrance related forums, checking the fragrance database websites like Fragrantica, checking Facebook groups, other reviewers who are informed about discontinued fragrances. But the most precise and most simple way to check if a fragrance has been discontinued is to go onto the producer's website and see if the fragrance is still available on their official website. If you want an even more accurate and precise way, if the fragrance is not on their website anymore, send them an email and ask them if the fragrance has been discontinued, because it happened to me in the past. If a fragrance was gone, was no longer available on their website, and I'm talking about a Penhaligon's fragrance, more exactly Castile. That fragrance was off their website. I asked one of their sales assistant in one of their stores, and they told me that the fragrance is simply out of stock, so they removed it from their website. And he was right, because 1 week later the fragrance appeared on their website again. So these fragrances, I have been watching their progress on their website, so they have not appeared anymore, so they are discontinued. Again, the best way to check if a fragrance has been discontinued is to combine all what I've said: the fragrance databases, the forums, the producer's website. But the most easiest way and the most precise way is to ask the producer directly. So let's begin with the actual list. No more delaying, because the more you wait and the more we wait, these fragrances will increase in price and will become harder to find. And of course, the first one is the one that I have just made a video about, and in that video I'm telling you exactly the steps that I took to find how this one has been discontinued. This one is Bulgari Acqua. It has been discontinued. No more words to say, just check that video if you want more details. The next one, Gerland L'Homme Ideal Cologne. This has been mentioned a couple of times before. It has been discontinued. There are more other flankers of the original L'Homme Ideal, but this one not anymore, and this one is the best in my opinion from that line. Azzaro Visit. I've checked their website and it seems like they only kept the Chrome line and some of the Pour Homme fragrances, but the flankers of the Chrome, not so much. Varvatos fragrances are a mystery these days. The older releases such as Artisan are definitely not available, and they have been discontinued. But when checking their website, they say something like we don't have any products for this season in this category, like fragrances. Come back next season. So I'm getting that they have discontinued all of their fragrances right now. and maybe next year they will come out with a new fragrance. But the new ones that have been released by them, such as the Nick Jonas fragrances, or not Nick Jonas, the Jonas fragrances, Nick Jonas is one of their fragrances. They are still available, but again, they are moved to outlets, sign that they have been discontinued as well. But the ones that are becoming rare now, not exactly this one, this is pretty much still available, but it's discontinued, Artisan. I like it very much, and I'm going to show you all of the John Varvatos fragrances that I own and that have been discontinued. The Platinum one, which is my favorite from this brand, has been discontinued a while ago. It's now very hard to find, very expensive. Like this one, Dark Rebel, probably the most expensive John Varvatos fragrance right now, and one of the best designer releases. John Varvatos, the original, discontinued again, and John Varvatos vintage. I have some backup bottles of these, but I will make a separate video about backup bottles because I do have a few. Now, Cerruti Image, this one, Cerruti only has a couple of fragrances, 2-3 maybe left on their website, and this is not one of them. This is discontinued for a while, but some stock has appeared on some websites and it was still cheap when I bought it. It's probably still cheap because Cerruti fragrances in general not so popular and they are quite affordable. Escada, one of the few remaining Escada fragrances for men, Escada Sentiment. This is quite an old release, smells pretty modern. I really like this scent, smells tropical, clean, fresh, fruity, really nice. Now with Loewe fragrances, I'm gonna show you the mentions at the end of the video because obviously I have missed showing you at the beginning. I have just seen them now, and I'm relating to the Loewe fragrances I'm going to show you right now. So this is Essentia Sport. The bottle is very similar to Pour-Homme. So Loewe Pour-Homme, Loewe Essentia Sport, they are both sport versions. They are very similar, but it's not the same fragrance, even though the bottle looks pretty much the same with some minor differences. But the scent is a bit different, very similar but a bit different. Not worth having both, but they have both been discontinued and the price is now increasing on them. The next is also from Loewe, and this is probably the most expensive Loewe from the ones that are in the low end, like designer like, not the high end, because they also have a high end. This is Solo Absoluto, which is long discontinued. Well, not exactly long, but longer than the other ones. And this one, I think it might smell even better than the original. And I'm glad that I own a backup bottle of this because, in my opinion, this is one of the best designer fragrances ever created. It's just amazing, this one. Sticking to Loewe, this is Origami, fresher version, more manlier version of the original, not so complex. Platinum, and by the way, all of these bottles are no longer available on their website anymore, meaning that they changed the design of the bottles as well. So even if you find, let's say for example, this one is still available, this scent, it will not be available in the same bottle. So Platinum, no longer available. Again, I'm trying not to give too much details. Loewe Sport, Solo Sport, no longer available. Moving to another brand, this is JS Exteman. I have talked so many times about this one. The brand is no longer on the market, but it seems like there is plenty of stock remaining of this fragrance because it's still being sold for cheap on online stores, not just on eBay. So yeah, probably there's a lot of stock left, but the fragrance for this price is still one of the best. Mont Blanc Individuel, no longer in production, but I think it's worth having, not just for being a collector, but also because it will increase in price. Bulgari Purom. Bulgari, from what I've checked, they have given up on most of their fragrances for men, and they just kept the Bulgari Man line. From the Acqua line, they still had Acqua Atlantique, from what I remember, but mainly they stick with the Bulgari Man line. So Bulgari Purom, no longer in production. Bulgari BLV Purom, this one, the inky soapy one, no longer in production. Now, Calvin Klein Obsessed Intense. Calvin Klein, I think they have discontinued most of their fragrances, and they had quite a lot. Last time I checked on their website, the only lines that were still available were the one Calvin Klein one, which it's one of their staples, and even from that line I didn't see most of the flankers. The Eternity line is still pretty much available, and the newest release, which I think it was, correct me if I'm wrong, it was Defy, maybe, it was that one. But yeah, most of their other fragrances, I haven't seen them. Obsessed Intense is one of those Calvin Klein fragrances that are a hidden gem. Beastly performance on this one. I'm definitely going to make a separate review because, wow, Calvin Klein surprised me with that one. Another great Calvin Klein fragrance, actually two of them. The Reveal for men, there's another version for women. I'm going to check the women's fragrances as well, see if they are discontinued. But this one, again, a hidden gem from Calvin Klein. I really like this one. It's very much comparable to the modern days fragrances. Fruity, a bit boozy, very complex fragrance with good performance. I love this one. And Calvin Klein men, I think many of the guys who are fans of this fragrance are going to miss this one, because this one, I think it's also discontinued. And this one is also a good Calvin Klein fragrance, a cheaper substitute for Dior Fahrenheit. Next, we have two Aramis fragrances. Now, Aramis doesn't show much information on their website, but these two, they don't seem to be available online that much. So not just on their website, not just on eBay, not just on the online store. So everywhere they're becoming more and more rare. So this is Aramis Black. Not really something groundbreaking, not really something that I must have. It's probably going to be gone soon. Probably going to sell this one just because it's easily forgettable. It's comparable, it's in the same category actually as fragrances such as John Varvatos Vintage or Zeno by Davidoff, but definitely not as good as those two. The price is pretty much similar, so definitely I would go for the other two, but the other two are also discontinued, so It's a bit of a bummer here. And the other one is Special Blend. This one is actually pretty good. When they released Special Blend, Tobacco Reserve, Modern Leather, I think that those were probably the best fragrances they have released in a while, and they discontinued them so quickly. But this one, really good, again, discontinued. The next one is the one that it's not really worth mentioning, but it is discontinued. I mean, it's not that popular, it's not really that good of a fragrance, but for how cheap it used to be, and it still is, I think it's really good, considering that it's an Avon fragrance. And it was created featuring the works of Christian Lacroix, and this one is Bijupyron. The bottle itself, it's really nice. The smell, it's like a combination of 1 Million with Versace Eros, lacking the performance of any of those two, but it's still quite nice for the price. Discontinued, of course. Next one is this one, this weird looking bottle. It's Girl by Pharrell Williams, but this one is a unisex fragrance, still pretty much available, like leftovers on websites, going for cheap. But this one is a very interesting celebrity fragrance. I wouldn't put it as a niche fragrance, even though it was created in collaboration with Comme des Garçons, and it does smell like a more artistic fragrance rather than your usual celebrity fragrance. That's why I think this one will probably increase its value when it will be seriously gone. The next one, I don't know how many people know about it. This one is Elvis Jesus by Elvis Jesus. It used to be a company, now it's no longer on the market. This one pretty much smells like a milder version of Terre d'Hermès without having that really good quality orange in the opening, but still a pretty good alternative and high quality bottle in general. Can still be found here and there, quite affordable, at least here in the UK. But yeah, I think this one was overlooked when it was available. Givenchy Incensed Ultramarine. From what I've noticed, Givenchy just stick with their Gentleman line. They're still available. The Givenchy Pie is still available, just the original. Haven't really seen the flankers, I think. But the Incense line is gone. So yeah, this one was is an interesting one, but didn't get enough attention. Next one is one that I think the fans, the collectors, the fragrance passionates, I think they will miss this one, because it was one of the fewer alternatives of Gucci Pour-Homme 1, which is considered, for many people, it was considered a masterpiece. This is Bentley for Men Absolute. This one discontinued recently, actually. And right now it's being found at a reasonable price in a couple of outlets such as TK Maxx. But yeah, it smells pretty close to Gucci Pour-Homme 1. For me, I think it still has that something from the original Bentley for Men, that powdery effect, which doesn't work for me, which Gucci Pour-Homme 1 doesn't have, but still pretty close. Next two, I say next two because they are both from Narciso Rodriguez. Narciso Rodriguez kept only the Bleu Noir flankers of the original. It's totally understandable. Why? Because this is a very hard to understand creation, hard to wear. not many people. You have to be, even the passionates don't really like this one. I mean, you have to really be into fragrances to appreciate this one. I appreciate it, but I cannot wear it, to be honest. I wanted to have it because when I've known about this one that has been discontinued, so I wanted to pull the trigger as soon as possible when it was being sold for a reasonable price, and I did. I also did the same for the EDP version. Now, the EDP version is not a more concentrated version of the original or a stronger version of the original. No, it's a bit different. It's actually a more easier to wear version of the original, but not necessarily stronger. I get better performance with the original. But yeah, both of them discontinued. I think this one will be heavily missed by the fragrance into the enthusiasts. Now, the next one is one by Mercedes. This one is Addictive Oriental from their VIP club. And I don't know why many people say that Club Black has been discontinued. I've seen many people talking about that fragrance, which is a more popular fragrance than this one. Probably better smelling, more easier to wear, more mass appealing version. But yeah, that one is still available pretty much on their official website. So this one, not so much. These ones, in collaboration with famous perfumers, they're not available anymore. And now I feel sorry not buying more of these bottles when they were being sold 2 for £16. So yeah, I really like the smell. I really like this one. I will check if I can get some more backup bottles because I do like the scent. It's pretty unique. The next one, and there are not many left. Come on guys, we did it. I still have the energy to finish this video. It was a bit long, but not that long. Next one is Audemicion by Le Covan de Minima. This one has been discontinued about 2 years ago, I think. I'm not that well informed when did these fragrances got discontinued, and I'm not trying to show that I'm very well informed about these fragrances. I did check on each and one of them with their official website, and you know, I did gather some information so that I don't say about a fragrance that has been discontinued and it's still pretty much available. But I'm not as informed as to say when did the fragrance got discontinued, why, and stuff like that. No, this is just more of a heads up video. If you liked any of these fragrances, you know, this is the time to go and buy them. And this one will definitely be missed because this one is such a great scent. Unisex, Boozy, Vanilla. It smells pretty much like that Club Black fragrance that I've just mentioned from Mercedes. Only that it used to be much cheaper, and it came in this huge bottle of 250 ml. It used to be around £30 for this size, but now, since it's becoming harder to find, its price has definitely increased as it's only being sold on eBay. The next one, wow, this one, the price for this one has gone really up. It's actually now one of the most expensive fragrances I own because it's going for a crazy price on eBay. This is Dolce Lisiere by Polario. This one used to be presented as an alternative to a more expensive fragrance. I don't remember exactly what was the name of the more expensive fragrance. I'm really sure that one of you guys remember it. So if this one was a version of Spiritus Double Vanille by Gerland. I think this one, I think it was a cheaper version of Ambre Narguilé, but not really sure. But let me know by leaving a comment below what this one used to be of an alternative to. And we have 3 more fragrances left. Zeno by Davidoff. This is a masterpiece in my opinion. I'm definitely going to miss this one, and I'm definitely going to have to buy at least one more backup bottle. This is 125 ml size, I think. Yes, I still have plenty in it because I didn't use it that much. But I'm planning, guys, I'm planning on reducing my collection because I want to be able to enjoy my fragrances, and so far what I've been doing was just giving fragrances wearings so I can review them, not necessarily spraying myself with fragrances that I like. So the ones that I do like were just sitting on the shelf, and I was just testing some other fragrances so I can review them. So not anymore. I just want to keep the fragrances that I really like, and I want to definitely and massively reduce my fragrance collection. And the next one, almost done. This is Keaton for Men. Keaton no longer produces fragrances from what I've noticed. And this one, and there was a Keaton Black. I haven't smelled the other one, but I really like this one. I also have a backup bottle of it. And the next one, and the last one, is Acqua di Parma Colonia Mira. This is the older bottle, and this is not just discontinued as presentation, because if you have noticed, Acqua di Parma no longer produce their darker fragrances that usually used to came in these brown bottles, are now in black bottles, and they no longer have the Eau de Cologne concentrate written on their bottles. It's just Eau de Parfum, I think now, which it should mean that they are more concentrated, but it's not usually the case every time. So with Colonia, with Mira, this one is gone. The scent is gone. So it's not just the design, it's not just the bottle. Colonia Mira is no longer being produced by Acqua di Parma. It's not really a shame. It's not really something that we would miss, because this fragrance, I have to be honest, it's not that really something that we would miss. I mean, I like it, but I can live without it, obviously. And I can live without many of these fragrances I have shown you, because in the end, guys, these are just fragrances. It's not water, it's not food. We can live without fragrances. But since we got into this habit of wearing fragrances, and since we found some fragrances that we like so much, it's possible that when they discontinue that fragrance, we are going to miss it, and we are going to start to get panicked, and we want to buy it. We want to buy more backup bottles so that we will still have that smell with us for a while. And I said I have some mentions. The Mugler Cologne, which no longer comes in this bottle, there's now part of a line. I'm not sure which of those is the one that smells like this one, because there are so many, and almost all of them have this theme of being simplistic and fresh and easy to wear. The next one, I think that one was Come Together, I think. The next one is Kenzo Power. I'm pretty sure that this one has also been discontinued, but if you go on Kenzo's website onto fragrance category, you will see that they still have details about this fragrance as if this one was still being produced. But if you want to buy this fragrance, if you go online, you will see that there are 1 or 2 websites that have this fragrance. Even on eBay, it's hard to find. So I think it's pretty safe to say that this fragrance has been discontinued. What a fragrance, guys. This one is amazing. If they would only make a eau de parfum version of that one, would just be, they would break the rankings of designer fragrances, of current designer fragrances. So good. Another mention is Loewe 7. This one is not being discontinued, it's just the design of the bottle. It's now different. All of their bottles now look the same. They changed it to something very simplistic. And the same thing with the L'Artisan Parfumeur fragrances. They kept the design, the shape of the bottles. It's just that now they have like a black sticker on them. It's like they're no longer changing the color of the sticker. It's the same sticker, they just changed the name. I really like the older design because if you have multiple bottles of L'Artisan Parfumeur, just this different color on the stickers give this really nice, beautiful aspect of your shelf filled with L'Artisan Parfumeur fragrances. Okay, so I'm done with this video. Hopefully you didn't get bored too much, because this type of videos which take this long usually are getting boring at some point. But if you found that one fragrance that you didn't know it was discontinued, leave a comment below and let me know which was the fragrance that you didn't know it got discontinued and you need to buy backup bottles of. And I'm sure that a lot more good fragrances have been discontinued. I'm going to make another video probably in the future. I'm going to get more informed about other fragrances, not necessarily the ones that I own, just to let you know, guys, these also have been discontinued, so you are also getting like a heads up. That was it. Until the next video, keep smelling great.